Ian Rapoport from the NFL Network joining us now on the Dan Patrick Show. Ian, did the Brian Urlacher admission that there was a designated dive guy, that this kind of stuff happens somewhat routinely, did that surprise you at all?
No, because there's always been whispers and kind of like some small insinuations that these things kind of happen. No proof, but offensive guys always kind of thought that this happened on a lot of levels. When coaches will say, kind of make snide remarks in press conferences. Well, it's kind of funny that, as soon as we kept getting first downs, they kept having someone get hurt. I mean, it just happened, was it the Northwestern game? Northwestern Coward, this came up again. I mean, there's always been some suspicion. But the fact that on an NFL team, on an NFL sideline, there's someone who says, we're going to get injured on purpose, that's a little troubling. But I also, there's two things about this. One, you got to imagine a coach cringing when a retired player, even a respected retired player like Urlacher, just decides to say whatever he wants. I mean, that's something that there's probably a lot of hands over eyes with that one. But the other thing is, these offenses, these up-tempo offenses, and we're going to see one with the Broncos tonight because they're going to go really fast, it's trouble. And it's hard to keep up with, and guys resort to cheating to just to stay on the field with them. It's pretty interesting.
Does the NFL have a specific rule that bans this type of behavior?
I believe it does. I believe that you're not allowed to fake an injury, and it's come up among the. I think it actually came up last year. There's some. I mean, obviously, there's some integrity of the game questions. There's some things that even if the NFL didn't have a rule, you shouldn't really need a rule where you're not allowed to fake an injury to stop the game. But it's more like what's incredible to me, and for some reason, and I don't know why, and I hope I'm not alone in this. I always think of Mighty Ducks when it comes to faking injuries, taking dives, etc. It's pretty lame,
I said that in the first segment, man. It all comes back to the Mighty Ducks.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah. Gordon Bombay, the lawyer, ordering the team to ordering Charlie Conway.
I mean, shouldn't we be better than this? It's but again, I mean, this really shows that the game is evolving, and it's sort of going to the next level as far as speed and tempo, and this is what people are resorting to. I mean, it just goes to show you how difficult life is becoming for defenses now.
He's Ian Rapoport from the NFL Network joining me here on the Dan Patrick Show. Ian, if I give you an over-under of 8.5 games that Geno Smith would start with the Jets, which one would you take?
I think I would probably take the under. He's going to start this week. He's probably going to start next week. And some of this depends on when Mark Sanchez actually starts throwing. He's still dealing with that deep shoulder bruise. My understanding is hasn't even thrown yet. So, I know when Sanchez first got injured, he was nervous he was going to miss not just game one, but more than that. And obviously, he's at least going to miss game one. So some of this depends on when Sanchez can get back. But, based on what we saw from Geno Smith in his first preseason game, it's going to be hard. Most rookie quarterbacks are not RG3 or Andrew Luck. And with Geno Smith, I mean, even in college where, he went through a period where he was the best player in college football, and in the second half of the season when it all kind of caught up to him, he was just a guy. And so, it's fair to expect, especially with a team that, doesn't have a ton of talent like the Jets, there's going to be some growing pains, and that's one of the things now where you have Sanchez. He's going to be coming back from an injury. If Geno struggles, it's an easy call to say, all right, Mark, get us through the season. So if it's game 6 and Geno Smith is still struggling, you can turn to Sanchez and just say, you know what, just get us through. And Rex left the door wide open for that yesterday, saying he'll reevaluate things when Sanchez is healthy.
Would Smith be the starter if Sanchez were healthy?
No. my understanding is Sanchez will be the starter. And this is part of the, kind of the odd dynamic with the Jets now is, they basically made an internal decision, especially after Geno Smith had a really difficult preseason game in Game 3, that, kind of came to the realization that he wasn't ready, that Sanchez was going to be the starter, which is, not the most surprising thing ever. But then Sanchez goes in, injures his shoulder, and all of a sudden, mostly Rex Ryan, who had sort of like come to, it's sort of been planning on Sanchez being the starter. He had to kind of re-wrap his head around, all right, now we're going to go forward with this rookie who, previously I hadn't thought was ready. I mean, that's kind of a difficult situation.
He's Ian Rapoport from the NFL Network joining me here in the Dan Patrick Show. How many teams, Ian, have a legitimate chance to win the Super Bowl?
Probably more than you think.
More than 10?
I would say I was going to go with 10.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you look at different divisions, like let's say NFC East, right? I think the Cowboys are going to come out of there, but whether it's the Cowboys, Giants, whether it's the Redskins, I mean, I think the Eagles are probably a year away, but whether it's those three teams, I think whoever gets into the playoffs is going to be so battle-tested that they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Same with, you look at Rams, 49ers, Seahawks. Whoever comes out of the West, that's a team where, they're going to have gone through so much and will have been so impressive just to make it out of that division that they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. So that's 6 right there. So it's probably more than 10. And that's what's great about it. Like, we spent all off season, all training camp studying and watching and trying to figure out who's good and who isn't and who's going to be kind of standing at the end. And maybe it's always like this a little bit, but it's so wide open this year. We're going to start finding out tonight, but I mean, it really could be. The winner could come from anywhere, which is kind of fun.
Enjoy the game tonight, Ian. Good to talk to you.
All right, man. Good talking to you. Thank you.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.